Welcome to the Chat with Chou podcast, hosted by Sherell, well-being and belonging consultant, best-selling author, and sought-after speaker. Join Chou as she connects with both new and familiar faces, showcasing their inspiring work in businesses. Together, we will explore insightful conversations, practical tips, and valuable resources aimed at fostering individual and collective growth, both personally and professionally. Let's embark on this journey towards greater well-being and belonging together. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Chat with Chou podcast. I'm so excited to be inviting some friends, some new, some old friends, but this is a friend that I have, an old friend of mine, and she is a Black business owner. And so this month we're highlighting Black business owners, and it's a joy to have Sherell here. Hi, Sherell. How are you?
I finally was able to make it.
I'm glad you made it. Technology works when it works, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you don't mind just sharing a little bit about yourself, how do you serve in the world?
So basically in business, you're asking.
Yes.
Well, in general, it was entrepreneurship was always in my family. And I can vividly remember maybe being about 12, maybe 11 or 12, and setting up like a nail table to paint people's nails in on the second floor of my home at the time. So I always sort of played in that way. I just liked the idea of what was included in business, but I did see some examples of it in that my older sister had a restaurant. My grandfather, he came up from Macon, Georgia, and he was actually a child sharecropper, and he
Ah,
had no more than not even a middle school education, maybe up to second grade or so. And he came up here and he opened up a few things. It was like a drugstore. He had real estate properties. He had a salon. And I had three aunts who were in cosmetology, an uncle, and my sister braided hair as well. So I kind of got started seeing that, talking to my grandfather, and I think I got, bitten by the trade bug and then the real estate bug in that same sense. So, but particularly in real estate, I did get started from a conversation with my older sister,
mhm.
who we would share different things about our intentions. And she just mentioned real estate classes at Camden County College. And I ended up doing real estate school on the weekends. I was a housekeeper weekdays, and I
Wow.
went to cosmetology school in the evenings on the weekdays. So I was doing my
Wow.
trade so that it could fund an ultimate career goal of being in business and law. It was slow moving, but that's sort of how I fell into all of the different things I did as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, wow. What a beautiful story. And, definitely entrepreneurship runs in your veins, right? It's in your DNA. And not only you embark on that journey as well, but then you made it your own.
Mm-hmm.
And people often, we all have different stories of how we got to entrepreneurship, but sometimes those who are not doing it just yet think that, well, it's always easy, maybe because it was in your family, it was just easy to start, or, you had the fund, so it was easy to start, or whatever, they think makes it easy. And then you
Yes.
hear stories like yours, you're like, no, I was here going to school, working a job, and then and then trying to start a business on the side. Or and like every hour of the day seems almost was all full and taking a pact with things that you're doing, but you were very intentional. It was not it.
Yes.
And what I hear here, it's not just being busy for busy's sake, right? It was being busy
Mm-hmm.
with intention because I'm building something and I'm going to be
Yeah.
focused. I'm going to be intentional to make it happen and do whatever I needed to do to get the
Yeah.
funds to fund the business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it was not I'll be honest, even though I had those things to as like the sort of guiding stars in general, it
Mm-hmm.
I did not have a blueprint because nobody was doing what I wanted to do, and
Mm-hmm.
they weren't in my shoes. Like my grandfather is a Black man, his walk was going to be different in business.
Mm-hmm.
People's in their overall business goals were different, so I didn't have a blueprint. It was a lot of trial and error. But I
Yeah.
will say that I feel is a little bit inspirational to tell people, um, when I operated my first salon, I probably was about 22
Wow.
or so.
Wow.
And um, it was actually just conversations with somebody I knew in the neighborhood who took a chance on me. Um, but I was actually working a welfare to work program. I was an executive assistant at a CDC, and I was like, I'm quitting. This is the opportunity. I'm out of here. And I left the welfare to work program and I operated that salon for a little
Wow.
bit. So
Wow.
it was I
Yeah.
definitely have some different everything was changing, and I tried to just pivot with it and make it the
Right.
best that I could make it.
Yeah, and those leaps of faith, people don't always like like back to what I was saying earlier, it doesn't always come easy. Sometimes it's doing it afraid, right? You had a
Mm,
comfortable job that was set up
yes.
already built to help you move forward. You're like, well, that's a good path. I want to afford
Yeah.
my greater path, right?
Yeah.
What works for me, and like someone believing in you, and you're taking on
Hmm.
literally you betting on yourself, like I'm gonna go
Hmm.
for this, and and
Yeah.
maybe and leave the comfort that was with a stable job. And so take us back there. Like I didn't even know that story about you. So take us
Yeah.
back there. What in you, or what was in your mind or in that moment what made you think, believe that, like, you know what, this is better for me? Like what was it for you?
Well, first off, I didn't have to put out too much funding, and that always looks good.
There you go.
but
Yeah, support,
but
right? Financial support
yes.
is beautiful
So
when you're building a business.
yes, so that I did have I had shelter to fall back on because my mother didn't say you got to get out at this age. I'll say that was important.
Mm-hmm,
The
mm-hmm.
third thing that was important was I trusted the person who was giving me the opportunity. So it was
Yeah.
a connection to other people that I knew. Like I didn't know him personally, but I he knew who I knew, and he was
Wow.
an older gentleman. And his walk, I mean, he experienced homelessness, substance use, all of these things, and he would go around and take his barber shears and his clippers and cut hair for money. And then he has like a construction company. He's a licensed agent. He has multiple barbershops. He has a recording studio. And he took the chance on me. Like, if you don't make any money this week, this is what you can do. We need to, think about you bringing some independent contractors in. We need to see. So I had like my own
Mm.
quote unquote contractors and employees at 22 with no blueprint, but he took a chance, and he wasn't so focused on the bottom line. He had wiggle room. He wasn't desperate, so he had the wiggle room to give me a shot. And
Yeah.
I didn't craft that. That I had to be ready for that opportunity when it came, and I was like, okay, welfare to work, but this is the point of being in welfare to work.
Yes. Yeah.
So I gotta go. So I left.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. And it's
Hmm.
so important. Like I love, that you share some of those details, because having someone not just believes in you, but that was a mentor right there.
It
Right. And
was.
literally took you under his wings and like, I'm gonna show you the business. You don't have a blueprint, we'll create the blueprint. Don't worry about the money if you bring money on that. Let's just build you and build you as an entrepreneur and help you build that business so that you can have systems in place that, helps it
Mhm.
grow. And obviously having mom there, like, hey, I still have a place to live. So if all
Yeah.
fails, I
Yeah.
have a place to put my head at night. So
Yeah.
that's important.
That was
That's
something.
so important. Wow. Wow.
Because if those major things are at risk, you don't feel comfortable to take a leap.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, you don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, those
Hmm.
things, create safety, and we all need to feel safe before we can thrive. No safety, nobody can learn, nobody can grow, nobody can do nothing. So when you
Yes.
have that kind of a safety net, sometimes it's not just money in your hand; it's a place
Hmm.
to stay, right? It's someone
Yeah.
to continue to mentor you.
Hmm.
So that wow, what an amazing story! And then in your mentor, in him, seeing that, hey, this is someone who didn't life was not easy for him, where he had a lot of challenges, but he turned those into something good for himself and for others. And like so he became the blueprint. Like if he can do it, I can do it too. And I'm
Hmm.
kind of willing to take you under
Hmm.
his wings and train you that, obviously like you believe. I'm pretty sure, and I might be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say that because you saw his journey, that gave you
Hmm.
more faith in yourself and in him as well, like to believe in him and the support that was provided
Yeah.
because you saw the evidence of what he could do, you know. Yeah, that's important in the
That
mentor,
was that
having
was
results.
literally something I would physically say. I would physically say, well, if another human was able to do it. When I was younger, I thought this way before I became jaded. I was
Yeah.
thinking, if another human can do it, I have to be able to do it. That's literally how I thought when I
Mhm.
at that time, like I said, in my early 20s. And
Yeah.
I was getting my real estate license, and I saw that he was already an agent. I saw his name on signs, and I'm like, I know of him. What, like, and I had to be willing to approach him. And that's a part of it too. You have to be willing. And that's a part of
Take that step. Yeah.
stepping out on faith too. Like you have to be confident in yourself enough to think that you can just take the first step. Don't even think about the 10th step, the actual ultimate goal. Think about the first one you have to
Right,
make.
right. One
Hmm.
step at a time. Yeah. So
Hmm.
with real estate, how many years you been in real estate now? I know it's been
So
a
it's
decade.
been 16 years. It's been
Yes.
16 years now.
You
And
look 16 yourself, my friend. So
I would hope to keep it. But
yes.
no, and how I remember is I didn't add this part to the story. I didn't want to monopolize the whole
No,
conversation,
this
but
is your time.
um
This is your
yeah,
time.
but when I graduated real estate school and took the state board, I took the first state board I took was in New Jersey, and I
Okay.
failed. And I ended up passing eventually. I think the second time or third time. And I'll add, I was 8 months pregnant and on my way toward divorce. So um I chugged my smoking minivan across the Ben Franklin Bridge. I was like,
Mm,
please get me there, please. And I
yeah.
passed the test. And just that's how I remember, because my oldest daughter is 16. And
Wow.
that's how I remember when I first got started. She was literally in my belly. And
Yeah.
the interview that I went on, I was 8.5 months pregnant in a suit and a hijab. And somebody else gave me a shot.
There
So
you
that's
go.
literally the story is is
Yeah.
something. I think about
Wow.
it.
Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
And back to believing yourself, having faith in yourself. Like you have to believe in your dream so much that, and knowing the impact it'll make, right? That it's bigger than you. And I think when we realize that your vision is bigger than you
Hmm.
risk everything, right?
Yes.
Including, pushing
Even
through
looking
with
crazy.
yeah,
I
with pushing
probably
through
looked crazy coming in there. He literally, the broker literally said, well, take some time after you have the baby,
the
take a
baby.
couple
Like,
months,
no,
and
you have no
this will
idea.
be
You're not
here for
understanding
you.
this.
Yes.
Yeah.
8.5 months with my button down white shirt around the belly, me, the belly, and the hijab and the suit, went into the interview
And you did it.
as
And
a
here you
newly
are to tell the
licensed agent.
story, right? So for
Yes.
someone else out there, it's like, well, I have all these other things going on. I'm dealing with a divorce.
Do
I'm a
it.
single mom, I'm pregnant. You're like, do it, right? You have to find
Do it.
something that's bigger than you and the purpose for
Yes.
your life that you know this will not
Hmm.
just help me, but it's going to leave a legacy for my family, but
Yeah.
make a big impact in the world. And then when you have that established, honestly,
Yeah.
nothing can stop
No,
you. Then you
no,
can take a
because so
chance
many
to
things.
there you go. They take a chance to connect with people and ask for support
Hmm.
because you're like, this is bigger than me, but also
Yeah.
because it's bigger than me, I know I need others around me to make it happen. So kudos for you 16 years late, no, ago, not giving up and
Yes.
pushing through. And now here you are. You've been doing this for 16 years. And
Yeah.
so and I know we kind of weaved through some of those challenges that you experienced along the
Hmm.
journey. But when
Yeah.
it comes to being an entrepreneur as a whole, you shared earlier that you didn't have a blueprint. And kind of take us back to that moment of not having a blueprint to where you are now, like as an entrepreneur. Like what has shifted? What has changed?
Yeah. So I do feel like I still have some of the same challenges, but I think that I deal with them in different ways because I'm
Yeah.
wiser. I'm a little bit more secure in certain things.
Mhm.
Because I had to function by trial and error, but I have always still been a very calculating, analyzing, assessing, auditing kind of person. So a leap of faith, but it's strategized. I don't just go out there with like nothing.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
um although I was going out, I would do my research, all of those things. And I would try my best to not over plan because that would make me just sit and ruminate about what
Yeah.
I'm worried about. But I think the biggest challenges to me were all of the identity groups that I belong to,
Mm.
and what society says about all of them was like, no, we might not want you here, or it might be harder. Um, I'm visibly Muslim. I was newly divorced. I'm
Mm.
not rich. I'm African American. All of those things. Um, they are their own things in and of themselves. So adding all of those things in business was another separate roller coaster.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel that I've been able to accumulate um, more inspiration to continue to pump that confidence, that resiliency, that all of those things. But I do feel like I'm still struggling with the same things most people struggle with in our position, which would be The funding, the investing isn't there. The actual money, monetary investing isn't there. Um, and because we've hit like dire straits, say after the pandemic and things, people are kind of for themselves. They don't want to dedicate time like that gentleman did for me.
Right.
And I've something that I've also experienced that I think hit me the most. The two things are um, the self sabotage,
Mm,
because sometimes you forget what you were capable of. If it's been a long stretch since you've seen profit or things like that, or the world's changing and you don't know how to adjust because you don't have a blueprint, yeah, you start forgetting what you're capable of. That's why I'm a big proponent about hanging your credentials, speaking them to yourself so you can remember what all you've been able to do. I've had
yeah.
to do that. But also, I don't have as many mentors as I want to, but
Mm,
all of them don't have to be mentors that you physically can touch. They can be
correct.
people you read about, all of those different things. And
Mhm. People you watch on
um,
YouTube. Yeah.
yes, yes. And I feel like there's a difference between a mentor and a sponsor in a sense,
Mm,
because I have had mentors that I thought was for spot on the level of a sponsor, and they would say it, but they would not be willing to stand next to me and show that they were affiliated with me.
mm,
So they supported me in private and not in public when it really mattered. That
right.
was really hurtful
Wow. Yeah.
when you
That's
discover that, when you
heart-wrenching.
think like, yes, I have this mentor on this level, and then realize they're like, no, back when we're in my office, not out here to the people where I need the connections.
Mm-mm.
So I still struggle with that because I'm still Black, I'm still Muslim, I'm still a mom, I'm still all of these
Right,
things. They didn't
right.
go away.
Yeah.
So I'm still a work in progress with those things, honestly.
But yeah, but I think thanks for you shining light on that. That's one of the reasons why I invite people in this platform to have this conversation and usually do by theme. So it's we can sit all here and talk about our aspirational dreams and what I know how we keep pushing through. But unless we mention, and bring awareness to the systematic barriers that are out there for Black business owners, where nothing is going to change. So I know it's natural to say I'm still struggling with this. I think we should even reverse that. Society is still struggling with this.
Yes.
Therefore, we are impacted by it.
Yes.
Right? No,
Yes.
getting funding should not be had nothing to do whether your with your religion, with your race, or your gender.
Yes.
It shouldn't have anything to do with that. But you and I
Hmm.
know that in reality, it still happens, right? And people say
Yeah.
that I not believe in you, but I'm ashamed to associate with you in public. That still
Yes.
happens. That hurts. That hurts.
Yeah.
And there's a
Or
lot
they
of
think that other people will take opportunity from them because they're affiliated, but I don't know.
mm,
That's their own thing. I used to take that
yeah,
personally, but that's their own thing about um who they
how
think
they
has
see
control
themselves.
over
Yeah,
their success or their resources. I don't believe in that.
yeah, yeah.
So I just feel like what you're supposed to have, you're going to have it. And that's just come from my spirituality. And I feel
Yeah.
like whatever is for you, nobody's ever going to take it. And if it wasn't
Mm,
for you, you're never going to get it. So
mm,
them thinking that somebody can take an opportunity from them when to me something was already set for you is crazy. I just don't operate with that kind of thinking.
right.
So, but definitely from I'll say as a very it's an important example, and I repeat it often on podcasts, but it's really important for people to understand. I had someone who was a mentor, very supportive. I'm talking about even financially, and he was my boss to make
Right.
sure I stay afloat with certain things.
Mm,
We're of different races, different times, and said to he actually said in front of my colleagues in the office, he's the broker of the company.
mm,
She's not selling houses because of her garb, right, guys? It's her garb in the middle of the floor of the whole team. And everybody was just staring at me. Nobody really answered him. I think his cousin was licensed as well. He responded. He said, well, if she takes it off, what is that going to do besides get her maybe a date? And I'm like, thank you. Somebody stood up for me
right.
saying, this doesn't impact whether or not I'm selling houses. Like, how dare you say that specifically? But right after that, I sold a house. I brokered the deal in less than 10 hours. So
Mm,
no, it wasn't. It wasn't
right. Right.
garb, so to
Yeah.
speak. But
Yeah.
yeah, that
Wow.
exists.
Yeah. And it still happened. I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that. But those are
Hmm.
the things that others might not know, and so I'm grateful that you are sharing this here, although it's no it's just
Hmm.
irks me that you had to
Hmm.
go through that. But unless we share those challenges, unless we share those stories, we're not helping anybody, right? And we're not changing the narrative for others. So kudos for, for shedding light on that as well. And speaking of all the hats that we wear, right? So your mom and you, we back then you were going to school and you're working and all of those things. How do you manage all those hats that you wear?
Well, typically I'm somebody who definitely likes to take bite sizes of things.
Mhm.
Um Usually my nervous system is telling me we need to do everything right now. Right now, everything needs to happen for everything. Don't go and get people. You need to do it because you know how to do it. You should just do it.
Mm.
But I literally have to use all of my wellness tools and um just approach life as it is in front of me, as opposed to looking everything else I have to put blinders on for until it's time for me to approach that.
Mm.
Um, and that's just basically how I go. I have to take things in a bite-sized way. Everything has a place um
Yes. Yeah.
in your life. And it's really about trying to control those inner voices and the voices that come from the outside, from society or whomever, like my former boss. Because those voices become your voice that you're speaking to
Mhm.
yourself with. Um, but I just also pay attention to what I know I was able to do in the past. That's proof that I can do it. Um, so there's proof that I was able to survive so many things
And do it again.
in business or just in general. So that's basically how I approach it. Bite
Yeah.
size. Approach
No,
life
that
in bite sizes.
that is a great approach because often we get overwhelmed when we look at everything at once and think we have to do it all. It's okay to start planning, write it down, come back to it. But if you're trying to do everything at once, it's definitely going to cause anxiety. You're going to feel overwhelmed. And then, especially doing it at once and alone with no support, that's not healthy. It's not sustainable for anyone, especially not for business owners. And I love that, you've even touched on mindset because I need to, yes, believe that I can do this, believe that I'll get through this, believe that my goals, my dreams are bigger than myself will impact. But in the here and now, I need to remind myself of what I already overcame, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, when another wave of challenges come, I'm going to crumble. And
Mm-hmm.
many of us have grown with our businesses, and the growth is not
Yes.
just financial; it's personal, it's internal. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to become, the business owner. Let me reframe that. You have to become the person that can lead the business that you want to.
Yes.
It's not just
Yes.
having the business, it's becoming first and then having later. And
Yeah.
many people don't see that. And that's why, again, having, mentors, coaches, people who help you navigate those challenges and help you grow as a person, is very, very, very helpful on that path. So how have you been growing as your business has been growing?
Um, well, I feel like from a personal standpoint, because I saw that as the main, that's always the catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
What you think is the catalyst. Your thoughts are going to become your business ideas, are going to become your
Mm-hmm.
strategies, your approaches, all of those different things. So really growing my mindset and stabilizing my mindset where it's important to grounding myself in who I am and what I know has been the main uh key ingredient to growing in business. And I'll say, and you know this, but I typically refer to myself honestly as like a holistic wealth professional. I don't just view myself as a real estate strategist or a paralegal consultant. um I say holistic wealth professional because I have identified and lived that there is more to, say, having a compliant business or the spreadsheets or anything else to being successful. Part of the key to your prosperity is your wellness. So if you're unwell and you're unbalanced and unsupported, all of those things can make even the greatest business plan crumble.
Exactly.
So that's I literally started incorporating wellness practices and even wellness products. I started um, a line called Well Ones where I was offering different wellness teas and even aromatherapy jewelry, bracelets and necklaces and things like that. So while we're on the go, we can still ground ourselves in a way, that might not look odd to people or things like that. I'm wearing a bracelet that can literally calm me down
It's
because
free.
I'm wearing essential oil. So
Mm-hmm.
things like that I had to develop because you'll be on the go and you'll forget to take care of yourself. You'll forget to eat during the day as you're going through different showings or whatever the case is. So I literally had to begin with some meditation, begin with different practices, and literally becomes us, in a sense, like my own savior, like not waiting for a
Mhm.
moment in time, but to just take the reins and do what I know I needed to do.
Yeah, yeah. Beautifully said. Yeah. And we've all seen that it's seen, and probably some of us been there where, like you say, it's on the go. You're doing all you have to do for your business. And you're like, when's the last time I even had a cup of a sip of water?
Yes.
Right? When, no, I don't remember if I even ate breakfast or lunch. And now it's like I'm
Yes.
getting, it's 8 o'clock at night and you have
My
headaches.
head is hurting.
Yeah, and so we have to prioritize our well-being. And this is where, like, what I do with personal consulting, like, a motto is literally to help people be well first, right? Because if you're not well,
Mm,
you cannot do the rest of the other things that we do, which
no.
is to, do well, work well, and lead well. Being is where we start. Where well-being is important. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. And something
Hmm.
that you didn't mention in the beginning, you're also an author. So tell us about that book. What is it
Oh,
about?
my
How can you help
baby.
people?
My first book baby. I would,
Yes. Yeah.
these are the only kind of babies I want to have a whole bunch of. So, so I have my two babies, but these I can go on forever.
I hear
So
you.
50 industry secrets, what I wish someone told me before I got into real estate.
Wow.
So
Wow.
basically holding people's hands the way I wish somebody would have done for me. So it wouldn't
Mm.
be trial and error and take so long to see certain successes. And what
Here's
I
the
like to,
blueprint. You didn't have a
yes,
blueprint, you created one.
yes. Woo! I
Woo!
didn't think about
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So I basically say it's like a no holds bar collection of tips,
Mhm.
moments of enlightenment during my path, or resources and hard truths. Because there's a section in the book that says for Black real estate entrepreneurs or individuals
Mm.
who are touched by real estate. And um, basically, I feel like it's for everybody on a skilled level.
Yeah.
Everybody is touched by real estate, from babies to investors.
Yeah.
All of us need shelter. We might be working inside of a property. We might be looking to buy a property, or we're renting. We might be foreclosed upon or being
Mhm.
evicted. Everybody is literally touched by real estate.
Yeah.
And the information in the book, um, it basically, even if it just provides enlightenment about certain terms in a digestible way, that's beneficial to the next person.
Mhm.
So that's basically what it just helps people navigate this landscape that impacts everybody in every area of life in a digestible way. And that's what people can really get from the book.
Yeah.
And they can
Thank
get it
you.
on Amazon. They
Yes, I
can
was
get it
gonna
on
ask
Amazon. And I was going to
also.
say sometimes there are some vending events in Philadelphia where I might have some on hand as well. And
Mhm.
I'll note those on my link tree. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I'll note those on my link tree. So if people want to get them, um, by hand, then we can do that too.
Beautiful. And that was my next question. So, we'll be able to share the link tree,
Hmm.
in the notes, and where else can people find you, like on social media, or website, or
Okay.
anything like that?
Yeah. So my link tree is like the Pandora's box. It
Okay,
leads
that's
to
where
all
we
of the
go.
other doors, as opposed
Beautiful.
to giving people six
That
different ways they
works.
can find me.
Yeah, that
But my
works.
link tree, you would end up finding maybe where I was on another podcast, or straight to my real
Mhm.
estate website, to my book, to some real estate resources I often put on
Mhm.
there for tenants or really anybody who might need different resources,
Nice.
um, to help them in certain situations in real estate.
Beautiful. So yeah, we'll make sure to share that, like the Pandora box, and you can go, for everyone listening or watching, you can go there and just explore all
Yes,
the resources she has there, and the book. Get the book. Like
yes.
she said, all of us are touched by real estate. And I was listening to one of my mentors yesterday, talking about real estate, and he was saying how like you say, everybody's impacted because either you own one, or you're renting one, you're buying one or selling one, right? So it's like all of us are all like impacted somehow because people always need a place to be, a place to live. So
Yeah, going
that,
to the doctors, going to the grocery store where our children play, all of it,
yes, yeah,
all of it.
yeah. So thank you for
Hmm.
creating such a, putting all your wealth of knowledge, if you want, into a compact book that people can, that digestible, that people can use as a resource on the go, at any moment. So thank you for creating a blueprint for,
Hmm.
you didn't have one, and you created one for all of us to enjoy it, so that we don't have to go for trial and error, and be able to maybe no, no, cut or make things a little shorter, right? The length of the
Yeah.
journey a little shorter and more effective, more
Yes.
impactful. So
Closing
thank
the
you.
gap a little bit.
There you go. There you go. Thank you so much. So thanks for what you do. Thanks for being here with me today. I really appreciate you, my friend. For everyone watching,
Thank
please
you
share
so
this
much for
out.
inviting me.
Yes, so everyone watching, please share this out. Like I said, all of us are impacted by real estate. But if even someone like, well, I'm not interested in real estate. Even just her story of resilience that can empower and inspire someone else to take their leap of faith, to move forward to whatever dreams and goals they have for themselves. And maybe you're like, I'm already living my dream, and maybe you need to be a mentor for someone like that mentor
Yeah.
was for her, and take someone under your wings and support them. So I know her story is not just
Yes.
about real estate. There's a bigger purpose here. There's bigger impact. So please, sharing is caring. We're thank you for sharing this, and thank you also for everyone watching and listening. Thank you for showing up every time we have an episode and listening and watching. So take care and be well, do well, work well, and lead well. Until next time, I'm Sherell and I'm signing out.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chat with Chou podcast. We hope today's episode inspired and informed you on your journey towards growth. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow Chou on social media to stay updated on upcoming episodes and more resources. Until next time, take care and keep striving for well-being and belonging in all areas of your life.